In Hillsborough County, Florida, 2 deputies with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office were seriously injured after being hit by a car while responding to a call for service on Thursday morning, November 9, 2023. According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, 2 deputies responded to a call in the town of Brandon, Florida at around 7:44 a.m. where a woman said that her son was experiencing a mental health crisis. The sheriff's office reported that at some point during the response, the 2 deputies were hit by a vehicle and sustained serious injuries.
The deputies in their car when they were struck, or were they outside of the car?
Great question. No, they were outside their car. They were outside their car, about 10 feet from the car, off the side of the road. As we all know how cul-de-sacs are in a circular shape. The suspect's house is here. They're over here. They're not even close to the house. They're about 10 feet from the car. Unfortunately, when they were struck, they were driven those 10 to 15 feet and driven into the car where they were pinned in between the 2 cars as they were trying to escape with their lives.
As I was headed here, I saw a bunch of you guys racing here as well. How has this really impacted your department?
Yeah. Emotional. I can imagine what everyone else has gone through. Every time I have to stand in front of the cameras and talk about a deputy who was intentionally injured or one who lost their life, I feel like a piece of my heart goes with them. These deputies kiss their loved ones goodbye each and every day to come out here and keep this community safe. I think this exemplifies exactly the great lengths our deputies would go through to keep this community safe, even when it means protecting an individual from their own self.
Is there an inherent danger on mental health calls like this versus other ones?
Another great question. I think every traffic stop, every call for service has an inherent danger of turning violent. We have a great computer system, and when this call was dispatched, a red flag went up that, hey, listen, this individual's been violent towards law enforcement. This is where Team HSO takes care of each other. So 4 deputies respond to knowing, hey, this individual has the potential and has been violent towards not only their own family, being charged with domestic violence in the past, but towards law enforcement. So thankfully, all 4 of them in the available units that were in the area did respond because 2 of them helped save these deputies' life.
Were the other 2 injured at all?
Fortunately not. They were able to escape injury. They were towards the beginning, the entrance of the cul-de-sac. So as he returned to the scene with the intent to kill these deputies, as he races and turns the corner right here beside me, you can see where one of the Tahoes is still parked here. You can see in the video that they have to jump out of the way, physically jump out of the way. Matter of fact, when we were reviewing the video, I thought at one point they were struck. Fortunately, they weren't. It almost looked like he was pushing the car away from him, one of the deputies, as he was diving between the 2 vehicles to escape injury. In a moment here, I'm going to see where we're at in the investigation. I would like to give you better access to let you see exactly the violence and the trauma that occurred here today. We're going to release this body cam footage. I know it's violent, it's traumatic, but I think it's important for our community to see exactly what these deputies went through today, exactly the grave sacrifices they made to keep this community safe. So we'll get all that released as quick as we can too, along with any other update we can get. As soon as we get an update on the conditions of these 2 deputies, I know everyone wants to know, including me. I'm headed to the hospital here in just a moment. We picked up both of their wives. They're at the hospital. We'll go there to see what we can do to comfort them. All the responding deputies who are on scene, we keep talking about the trauma that they've endured, their fellow squad mates. We've pulled them from the street. They're back at one of our district offices. Our peer support team, our counselors, our pastors are en route over to see what we can do to try to provide some comfort to each of them. I think also, before I conclude, I hate the fact that every time we have a mass shooting, every time we have some individual has been violent towards our Tampa Bay community, our Florida community, or any community around the country. I hate the fact when we have family members or neighbors or friends that say, well, we knew they weren't right. We knew they didn't take their medication. We knew they were suffering from some type of mental health crisis. Well, why didn't you call? If you love these individuals, if they're your friends, if you want to be just a good human being, pick up the phone and call. They may not appreciate what you're doing, but they'll respect it and appreciate it later on. Pick up the phone and call. Unlike maybe some other places around the country, Tampa's different. We have some phenomenal resources for those who are suffering from any type of mental health crisis. Call 988, the national hotline. Call 211, the crisis center. Help is as easy as a phone call away. And if someone who's in mental health crisis won't make the phone call, then let's make sure we're the ones making the phone call before they're able to become violent towards themselves, their loved ones, this community, or law enforcement.